But number one for me is the, what is it called? Dawson's Rentals. Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here. In today's video, I'm going to be ranking my top 10 favorite Red Ranger power-ups from Sentai and Power Rangers. Now this list is going to strictly stick to ones that are either only in Sentai or both in Sentai and PR, meaning no battleizers. I'm going to do a separate video for battleizers at some point. But this video is inspired by me trying to do these ranking videos or thoughts on videos, lining up with debuts in the show, as we recently were getting the Boonboomger 119 power-up. Now originally I was going to do an all Red Ranger power-ups ranked, but that's a long list if you include all of the team power-ups, the one-offs, the individuals, and if I do one like that it's going to take a while. So I wanted to keep it a little bit smaller, and I also wasn't sure, like, do I want to strictly have it just be solo Red power-ups or the team power-ups, and I was already pre-annoyed at people like being like, that doesn't count because blah, 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 categorization. So I'm like, you know what, let's just do top 10 favorite. And this list encompasses like anything. Like it could be a team power-up one, individual, a whole new Ranger form. At some point I will try to do the every single one, but that is just going to take a while because there's so many and there's probably ones I might even forget. But anyway, let's get started. First up, I do just want to do an honorable mention. This is only an honorable mention because technically it's not a Red Ranger, and I could see the people that treat this like you're doing your taxes going nuts with the categorization, but is Zenkaiger's power-up. I always just really like this one. You know, a Dragon Caesar based thing is always really easy, but I really like this because just in general I thought it looked cool, but I liked the idea of him now with this power-up fitting in with the rest of the team because it's a unique series where you have one regular Ranger, 4 Mecha Rangers, but now that he has a Mecha form and then they can all be Mecha Rangers, I always thought that was pretty cool. Coming in at number 10 is the Tyranno Ranger, Armored Tyranno Ranger power-up / Armored Dragon Shield mmpr Red. This is just a classic. You know, I still love this one. It's one of those ones that's very popular, and you almost hate to include it because it seems so cliche, but it just really does work. You know, a lot of people even prefer this one to the Green Armor. I still prefer it on Green Ranger, but I think this is very well done. Now, something you might know about me if you've watched any of these videos or my channel is I'm not the biggest fan of when the power-ups are just armor. Like it's just a chest piece. I like it to change it more. But this one just feels a little bit different because it also, first of all, not just like a face or something weird or anything. It's just a normal armor. But the fact that it's like the 6 Rangers armor is pretty cool. The red and gold contrast works really well. And it very often has a pretty cool story context, whether it's like Tommy trying to prevent the powers from going to Rita, Jason wearing it in honor of fallen Tommy and Shattered Grid, or of course the brother connection in Zyuranger. After that we have King Kuwagata-Oger. Despite the fact that I was slightly annoyed that they were able to squeak basically a Gold Ranger in there when they had a year without one, it's still a really well done power up. It definitely furthers the Knight Armored theme. It looks really cool. Kind of gives you a what if look in a way at a Gold King Oger. I still prefer the O Kuwagata-Oger one, but I still love this one a lot. And after that is the Mystic Legend Mode Red Ranger. I really love this power up overall. I think it's very well done, where I think a good power up should, at least in theory, be better than the original. You might not necessarily always prefer it, but at least be some sort of one-up, and I think this does a good job of that, where honestly, I think I might prefer it a little to the main suit, but not in a way that I see the main suit as boring. I think they're both equally valid, and this one just takes a slightly different approach with the armored look. I love the protrusion of kind of their creatures off of their helmets, the contrast of the white color on the armor. It's just very well designed, and I've always loved it a lot. Next up, Cho Abare Max, the most recent power-up for the Ranger 20th Anniversary movie. This one's really great. Now, no shade at the PR Battleizer. This is definitely not Sentai Purist territory. Don't be a Sentai Purist. It's awful. But I definitely prefer this for like the idea of a Battleizer for Dino Thunder compared to the weird Go-Go Gadget one we got. It just feels like this great combination of the Ranger Dino Thunder aesthetic. It's a little bit messy, but it's also really cool, but a great evolution. Great evolution of Abare Max, and feels like the perfect Battleizer for the series. Next up, Shishi Red Orion. If you guys know me, you know I'm a sucker for a good white Toku suit, and I love the Q-Ranger suit designs, so getting to see effectively a white Q-Ranger was really cool. I also just really love the concept of the Red Ranger power-ups that effectively turn them into a whole nother Ranger. Like, this is definitely one that you can tell it's Red's power-up, and it works as that, and an evolution of it, and it has some nice contrast colors with all the rainbows and stuff. But also, if we were to do an adaptation, or if they were to just roll this out and say it's a different Ranger, I could totally buy it as well. Following that up with a similar concept, Duo Whale, probably my second overall favorite suit in the Zyuranger system of suits. Like, I like the Zyuranger suits. Or, did I say Zyuranger? Zyuohger, I might have said Zyuranger a million times. The Zyuohger suits, I really do like them, honestly. But there definitely feels like there's something slightly missing amongst the core 5. But I think Zyuoh the World and then Zyuoh Whale definitely fill that out where they feel more complete. Like I said, I love when the Rangers just turn into another suit. Although, I think this could have been a perfect 7th Ranger. Like, I get the concept is different, but Eagle just turning into a whale, like this could have been a whole other guy. But regardless, it's a well-designed suit. I think it uses the concept of the sort of mural on the front well, but then it doesn't make it feel so incomplete because you have kind of the trench coat aspect. The helmet is super awesome. I love it. It's just so slick and cool, and the contrasting white color on the visor, it's just very well done. Next up is the most recent Deca Ranger power-up, which I think is called Premier or Prime or something like that. This is just great. I was not a fan of the Fire Squad suit. I thought it was really boring, especially when you get to come back for a new special, you get to do something cool. And this one was just more of what I wanted. Like, I wasn't a fan of Fire Squad, but when I saw this picture, I'm like, yes, this is how you do it when you do a cool returning power-up. I love the shiny metallic color of it, almost reminding me of some, like, metallic releasing figures from Bandai back in the day with Power Rangers. It's just, oh, that's a sexy suit. It's just very well done. Definitely more of what I'd like to see out of, like, something like this, and Chobare Max, and even Hurricanegers is definitely more of what I like to see when you do a returning power-up instead of something that's just a chest armor. For the top 3 here, we have just regular Abare Max. The very first one to do the idea of a new Ranger suit. Also kind of like Orion, where it looks like it could be a different Ranger, but also very much builds off of red. To the point, I think, I don't remember if there was ever rumors, because I wasn't so much around during those days, but I don't remember if there was rumors if when images of this first came out, of this being the 6th Ranger, like if people thought that. But I do remember there was rumors that like Devin or somebody new was going to come in and we were going to make this a 6th Ranger, but it very much feels like it could be that. And I think it builds off of the Abba Ranger design very well. I love the contrasting blue color for the spiked shapes on the suit. I love the golden plating on the helmet. I love just the idea of the concept of the Mezzodon design. It's just very cool and I've always really liked it. Runner-up spot, Super Geki Red. Geki Ranger always been a favorite system of suits. A good example of like the power-up feels like an improvement, but doesn't take away my love from the main suits, which very much feel distinct and unique, but feel that they're ripe for a power-up. And this feels like they designed it with, like they designed the first suits with the power-up in mind. Like we're gonna be doing this later, and it just feels like it fills it out and evolves it. I love that like it becomes primarily white with a contrasting red color. The sort of like, whiskers aspect of the white highlights on the helmet just works really well. Just a really badass power-up suit, and kind of this and the Mystic Legend power-ups are like my favorite type of team power-up, where it changes the suit, kind of a different Ranger, but also not. Number 1 for me is Max Ryusoul Red. I just love this from the get-go. You know, in general, I'm not as big a fan of like the main base suits, but I was very cool on Ryusoulger, but I've always loved the helmets and the aesthetic, and this just really brought it to the forefront of like everything I like about it, because Void Knight kind of sold that more, and this kind of combined like the helmets and the aesthetic I liked from it with some things from Void Knight, and it just looks so awesome and badass. I just remember gushing over this form when it first appeared, and I've always just really loved it. Again, having that little bit of a kind of metallic-y red color that I really like as well. But that is just my list. Let me know your list in the comments as always. Until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell to get notifications for my videos. Dawson Rider, signing out.